Okay, ready to go? All ready to go. All right, good evening everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming along tonight to this workshop. This workshop is entitled Half Hour to Health, and as the name suggests, we'll be going for about half an hour. Actually, over the quite a few years I've been running this workshop, I've added a few things in, so we might go for about 35 minutes or so. And there'll also be a chance for questions and answers afterwards. So if you've got some questions, some specific questions, you can leave them to the end and certainly put up your hand. The reason we call it a workshop is because it's a chance for you to ask questions. So if something isn't clear throughout the body of the workshop, then put up your hands definitely. But also I'll be asking you questions, and I'll be asking for your input definitely. All right, because we want to work through some things tonight. Okay, so we'll be going for about half an hour, as I said. And the purpose of really tonight is to help you to get the best results. Okay, we find that people who come along to these workshops get the absolute best results, and they do for two reasons. One reason is that we give you some things to do. We give you some advice. We give you some practical things that you can start doing straight away. Right? You can take home and you can start doing them tonight and tomorrow. The second reason is that we remind you, we talk about what health is and where healing comes from. All right? We work that through tonight in the body of the workshop, because we're born into a medical world. We're brought up in a medicalized world, all right? And where we get sick, we go to the doctors. We take a pill or we have surgery. You know, there are not that many options, but many of us were brought up in this medicalized world, and we've really forgotten about true healing. And really, once you remember that, once we can focus on that, then you're more likely to walk towards that state of healing. Stephen Covey was a management guru back in the 1990s, I think it was, and he wrote a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Who's read that one? Anyone? Yeah, a few people. And he said in that book, one thing that was really important, he said, if you want to get somewhere, if you've got a goal in mind, you begin with the end in mind. All right? Begin with a clear picture of where you want to be. So who here wants to be healthy? Everybody. Good, good, good. We're all in the right workshop. All right? So if you want to be healthy, you have to have a clear picture of what health and healing is. And then you're more likely to take steps in that direction towards being healthy. If you don't know, you'll end up anywhere. Okay, so we want to get a clear picture of that. And that helps you to get the best results. After tonight, you will never be able to look at your health in the same way again. It's a big statement, isn't it? All right? But there's a problem in a community that chiropractors know about. And this is a very, very serious problem. All right? And it's a problem called vertebral subluxation. Right, it's very prevalent in our community. When we check people over at the Hyperdome, when we do our postural screening, who's come from a postural screening? Okay, when we check people over at the Hyperdome, we find that about probably 90 to 95% have misalignments or distortions in their posture, indicating subluxations underneath. It's epidemic in our community, in fact in the Western world and probably the world. Right? It's very hard to escape growing up to the age of 20 without a few falls or bumps or knocks or injuries. See, girls, thank you. All right. So it's a very prevalent problem, and for some people it'll be the most serious problem that they have in their life, in their entire life. It'll affect their health that significantly. All right? So let's have a look at what it is. I mean, most of you know what it is now. A term used by chiropractors to describe the misalignment of bones resulting in nerve pressure or interference. Okay? It causes pain, it causes disease, and it causes dis-ease. All right, what do you think dis-ease is?
Okay, discomfort.
Discomfort, uncomfortable? Yep. Just not feeling right? Yeah. And also, you know, waking up in the morning and not having energy and not feeling like... We should wake up in the morning and, yes, ready to go for the day. Who feels like that every day? All right, a few people. One person. Cameraman. All right, you're all in the right place. All right. So we should have this energy, we should have this enthusiasm, this natural feeling of life flowing throughout our body, you know, which innovates us and gets us moving. You know, who has brain blocks occasionally? They can't think clearly. Okay, all right, that might be dis-ease. It's just not feeling at ease. It's not feeling okay, 100%. All right, and again, very common in the world, caused by subluxation, but also caused by a lot of other things as well. Causes loss of work time. Subluxation causes loss of work time, loss of money, loss of leisure time. So it has a huge impact in the world. I was reading just recently, this was from the Global Burden of Disease. Low back pain is #1 cause of disability worldwide. And it says here, overall, out of 29 conditions studied, low back pain was at the top in terms of years lost to disability and 6th in terms of disability-adjusted life years. Okay, so very, very serious problem, significant. And that's just back pain. That's just one thing that chiropractors deal with. You've got back pain, neck pain, headaches, migraines, sciatica, etc., etc., etc. And they are all just, as you know, symptoms. They're not causes, they're symptoms of disease. All right, symptoms of subluxation, if you like. All right, so that's what I'm saying. For some people, it would be the most serious condition they have in their whole life. Causes loss of jobs, causes relationships to suffer. We had one patient, I remember 2 patients I can think of. One, it really affected his relationship, almost broke up, and another one, you know, they actually admitted, the husband and wife, they were still friends, but they had to live separately because of his pain and discomfort, right, which we helped him with, and he's left a testimonial with us about that. Relationships suffer because of pain. You can't be happy when you're in pain. Who's irritable when they're in pain? Okay, most people. Quality of life suffers, and also your quantity of life is reduced. Quality of life, straightforward. Most people understand that. What do I mean by quantity of life?
Less of it.
How long you're going to live. You don't live as long if you've got subluxations. Now that's pretty serious, isn't it? How can I say that? Well, if the nerves control and coordinate everything in your body, even your vital organs of your body, and if you've got, say, maybe 5% or even 3% less than normal nerve supply, say to your heart or to your lungs or to your gastrointestinal system, your digestive system. Let's say your digestive system, you're lacking about 5% in nerve supply. Just the power's gone down. Do you think you're more likely to get sick? Do you think you're more likely to have gastric problems or digestive problems, and that leads to this constipation, and that leads to that, and that leads to something else? There's a cascading effect of illness when that happens. And it's the same when you start to take medications, isn't it? There's a cascading effect of medications on top of that as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, but that's good. And people might not be dying from subluxation on the death certificate. They're not going to put subluxation, but guaranteed that that will be a cause in many cases. What do people die of when they get older? Often it's pneumonia or something in hospital, and you know, it's something that many people usually recover from, but their resistance has gone right down, or their ability to recover has gone right down, and that's due to subluxation. All right. So there's another problem in the world that's causing people to die. Let's just deal with this at the moment. What's the #1 cause of death in the Western world?
Heart disease.
Heart disease, cancer. #1 and #2. Used to be heart disease #1, cancer #2. Now it's cancer #1, heart disease #2. It's only just changed over in the last 6 months or so. All right. About 43,000 each of those responsible for deaths each year. What's the #3 cause of death in the Western world? In Australia, in the Western world. This is the one I want to talk about.
Accident.
Accident is down quite a lot further. I think it's only about a 1,500 car accident, but accidents in other ways, probably more than that. What's that? Stroke. Stroke I'd count as cardiovascular disease. I put them all together. Cardiovascular, like heart attack, stroke, that sort of thing. Yeah. All right, #3 cause of death in the Western world. Not many people know it. I've had about 3 people in 15 years who have known this one. All right, and it's modern medicine. All right, anyone aware of this one now? I'll just deal with this for the moment, but I don't want to dwell on it, but it's just something that we really do need to know, because we're born and we're brought up into a medicalised world. Modern medicine, let's have a look at this. 18,000 people a year die due to medical mistakes in Australia. Okay, and this is the Bulletin magazine. This is a very well-respected magazine back in the days when we used to read magazines, all right, physical magazines, and this is called Bad Medicine. It's about a 7-page article, and it was about a study that was done probably about 20 years ago now, maybe over 20 years ago now. And what they found was that 80,000 people a year died due to medical mistakes. Okay? They haven't done the study again because what they've determined is that we haven't changed the system, because this is endemic in the system. Within a certain system, it happens. This is quite consistent. All right? And they haven't done the study again because they know the results will be about the same. And actually, it's thought to be about 2 or 3 times that amount, because these are just the ones that are reported. Okay, so it could be actually #1 cause of death in the Western world. The same statistics in America, it's about 750,000. Okay, it goes for about 7 articles. Yes, there's the ones we know about, the Patels and the doctors who have made mistakes. But this is deaths under anesthesia, this is drugs, this is medicines, this is operations gone wrong. People taking the right drugs at the right time for the right condition, and they have a reaction. Okay? So what I'm saying there is that we think our drugs are very safe, and because they've been through lots of trials, haven't they, generally? All right, but they're not. We find out after 5 years, well, this is happening. They take Celebrex off the market, or you know, all these different drugs that have been found to be causing increase in heart attacks and that sort of thing. And yes, they might get some relief in some ways, but they all have side effects, because they're all toxins, they're all poisons. So what I encourage you all to do is to try and get away from taking drugs. I can't take you off drugs, but you need to regularly assess whether you need to be taking them. And also, if you can try and get yourself in a situation where you don't need to be taking them. Okay? So there's less reliance on the medical doctors. Medical doctors are fantastic. We need them, absolutely need them for acute care. If I have a car accident and I'm bleeding from the neck, don't take me to see Lawson. All right? Right. Later on, maybe, but take me to the doctors, let them stitch me up, and do what they do so very, very well. We really need them, and they're really important to us. But in the longer term, with chronic diseases, medicine doesn't have a great record. It's pills or surgery, isn't it? I remember my mother had a hip; she needed a hip replacement, and she had one done, and then the other one. She went along to the orthopedic surgeon. She says, "How's the other one coming along? How's it going?" And he says, "Oh, it's coming along nicely. We'll operate on it in a couple of years." So, there's not much other option other than drugs and surgery in many cases. Okay? So, let's have a look at medicine in general and also science. Have we won the war against bacteria and viruses? Okay, are we ever going to? All right, no, because bacteria, we're running out of good drugs to treat bacteria. We have to finding different ways to actually kill the bacteria because of multi-drug resistant bacteria, because of the antibiotics in our food chain and the antibiotics that we're overtaking. Australia was #2 in the world, I think, for overusing antibiotics. We don't need to be using antibiotics for throat infections, for ear infections, sorry. Okay, so because it only makes about 1 day of difference. It was in Choice magazine. Does everyone know that? So you don't need to be taking these drugs for antibiotics for ear infections in kids. My kids swam a lot. They had the occasional ear infections. They had adjustments, all right, and it gave them really good relief, and they were okay. I think only once we've needed pain control with one of our children, all right. Otherwise, no antibiotics ever throughout their whole life, 15 and 17 now. I don't know. I don't remember the last time I took antibiotics, but it must be at least 30 years ago. Since I've been a chiropractor. Okay? So you just don't need these things once you get your health up to a certain level. Once we focus on what our goal is, which is health. Viruses, they'll always be replicating, and that's why they want antivirals, because they'll always be replicating, and we'll never get ahead of them. Okay? Have we won the war against cancer? Obviously not. It used to be #2. Yeah? Yeah, and now it's #1. And how much money have we put into cancer research? How many times do you get called up on the phone? Would you like to donate to? It's just a huge industry. Unfortunately, it's a huge industry, and we're not getting to the cause, which is often lifestyle factors, often preventable. Many cancers are preventable if we get a healthy, balanced spine and nervous system, if we get our nutrition right, if we get our exercise right, and our stress levels and health knowledge. These are the 4 pillars of healing in this clinic, 4 pillars of health. Right, if we get those right, we're going to live anywhere between 14 and 25 years longer, and we're going to live a lot healthier. All right, does that make sense? Yeah. It's who's responsible for your health? Is the doctor responsible for your health? No. Am I responsible for your health? No. Who's responsible? You are. Okay. So last one, does money make us well? Can we buy our health back when we lose it? No. No, we can't. Even simple things. Say someone had lots of osteoarthritis in their spine, which is a relatively benign condition but can be very painful. Lots of arthritis throughout the whole of their spine, jamming it up, making it stiff. And then say the person with that was a billionaire. Could they go to a doctor and say, I'll give you $1 billion if you can make my arthritis go away? Could the doctor do that? No. What we have to do is look after our health. You know, every day do things that look after our health and move us in the direction of health, right? Health comes from healthy increments, small things done regularly and consistently. This is where health comes from. So let's look at this. Let's define health. We all want to be healthy. What is health to you? Let's turn this around and go positive. What is health to you if I was to ask you what health is? This is the workshop part, guys. You look like you want to answer.
No, I was thinking, is it just, like you said, feeling good?
Feeling good.
Every day,
yep.
Feeling great.
Energy. Feeling good, energy. Yeah, good. Anyone else?
Being fit.
Being fit. Yep, very good.
Just being able to do the day-to-day activities that you need to do.
Yep, being able to do everything you want to do, day-to-day activities, yeah.
Being able to do what you want to do.
Yep.
Physical things you want to do.
Physically.
So having a good lifestyle.
Yeah.
Having good lifestyle. Yeah. All of those things are right. All of those things are true. But let's look at this. Most people say, when we ask that question, you know, most people have grown in their awareness of health and healing. And that's why you're here. You're not in a medical clinic. You're here. You're looking for something a bit different and a bit more. So health and healing. Lost my place. Thinking about other things. All right. So most people say, here we are. Most people say, when I'm feeling good, when I don't have any symptoms, I must be healthy. Is that true?
No.
No. Okay, so let's explore that a little bit. True or false? For those of you who are questioning that. Symptoms are the first sign a person is not healthy. Symptoms are the first sign a person is not healthy. Don't think so?
Well,
Not sure now? Possibly.
yeah.
All right, think about hardening of the arteries. Right, hardening of the arteries, atherosclerosis, calcium or fatty deposits in the arteries. How long does it take before a person with hardening of the arteries gets their first symptom? Many years, 30, 40, 50 years. And the first symptom can be a heart attack, can be death.
Yeah.
They can die. That's their first symptom of hardening of the arteries. Same with tooth decay. How long can we have tooth decay before we have pain? A long, long time. How long can we have cancer? Some cancers grow in our body for years and years and years. And sometimes people often die with 2 or 3 cancers in their body, but they didn't even know it. All right? So your body will not tell you that you've got a problem. All right? This is a problem with the body, but only 10% of your nervous system is pain sensitive. A lot of people don't know this, but does that make sense? 10% is pain sensitive, so you're not going to know. Often if you've got something growing in your body or something going on, or diabetes, you're going to get another symptom, like being thirsty all the time and having to go to the toilet regularly. That's diabetes. Body will not tell you. It would be easier if there was a bit of a ticker tape that came out under the arm and you get a little readout every now and then, or like they do with the cars, plug in and read out, oh yeah, got to increase my fluid intake, I've got a bit of problem with this. So then you'd be able to work it out, but you can't. All right, so often the first time someone knows that they're ill is when they get a symptom, and that's often the last thing to appear in a disease process. And it's also often the first thing to go. All right, so the answer there is false. And this is this poster here. Symptoms are misleading. All right, symptoms are the tip of the iceberg. When we go to the doctors, we have symptoms, and they can often give us some relief, can't they? We want relief. This is what we asked for with the doctors. It's not right or wrong, it's just what we created. Well, I think it's wrong, but philosophically, but we can do better. All right, so this is what the doctors do. And what we should be looking for, the underlying cause. Okay, cause, the underlying cause, yeah. All right, so the symptoms are on the top, the underlying cause here. And this is why doctors don't like us treating children. We often treat children, and they don't have any symptoms. And But they do have subluxations. They do have misalignments in their posture. They do have restrictions in their spine. That's what we're adjusting. We're correcting the underlying cause before they get their symptoms. Okay? All right. Okay. So symptoms are often the last thing to appear, and they're often the first thing to go. And this is why we'll continue to treat you when your symptoms have gone, because we want to correct the underlying cause. Right? So a person should go to a doctor only when he or she has symptoms. No. Okay. When should we be going to doctors?
Well, on that basis, if symptoms are not the first, then you should maybe be going at other times.
For what?
Checkups or something.
For checkups, yeah. We should be going for checkups, definitely. But what happens when you go to the doctor and you're feeling okay, and you go in and you say, right, I'm here for my checkup, what will they do?
Not very much.
Blood test, maybe do a cancer screening thing, which is really only early detection. Doctors are not that high up in the wellness department, all right? They're not really wellness oriented, they're illness. They're doctors of illness, they're not doctors of wellness. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so they'll get better at wellness, and this is a good thing. We need them to be better at wellness, all right? Everybody, all our doctors, to be educated that way, to prevent, all right, before, rather than just early detection at a checkup. Okay, chiropractor is a doctor of wellness. When you come in to see us, we'll write down your symptoms as we have to do. We'll put them aside. We'll take some x-rays of your spine. We'll do a physical exam. Then we'll take some x-rays of your spine. And then we'll determine where the subluxations are. And then we'll correct those, right, to make your body well, right, regardless of symptoms. But when we adjust your spine, your symptoms will go away because we're correcting the underlying cause. So the answer there is false. Let's do one more. To make a person healthy, you must remove the symptoms. Make you healthy. Healthy. To make you pain-free, we remove the symptoms.
So you
Yeah.
remove the cause.
But it won't make you healthy. No. Does everyone understand that? Yeah, you won't get healthy if symptoms are gone. People could be without symptoms. They could be taking 13 or 14 pills a day, which, you know, most people at the age of 60, 70, 80 have between 5 and 10 medications a day. All right? And that's to cover up their symptoms and their problems. So it's not the way to health. They're not healthy, are they? Okay. All right, so we're getting the idea there. So let's have a look. Good health has nothing to do with symptoms and how you feel, and everything to do with how you're functioning, how your body is actually working. Health is normal function. A really good definition of health, right, is I'm functioning well, my body is working well, my mind is working well, etc. And that leads us to this one. This is Dorland's Medical Dictionary definition of health, and this is what we should be following. Health is a state of optimal physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual well-being, not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. Okay, so this is good. I like this. This is holistic. This is looking at the whole person. And this is Dorland's Medical Dictionary, the medical Bible as far as what words and definitions in the medical community. So how do we use this? Practical terms, how do we use this? What I want you to do is look into your life and see where you are out of alignment with life, with health. Okay, with life and with health. Is it physical? Yes, you're here getting your physical self sorted out. You need exercise, all of those things. Make a mental note about where you need to grow, and we'll talk about some of these things in a minute. Social, right? It's been said we need about 18, I think it is, friends, close-ish friends in our group, in our community, people that I'm able to talk to, you're able to talk to offload, all right, who can do it with you, and you share it with, and you help each other, all right? And it's very good for our emotional health. Or counselling. Several times in my life I've needed to go and see a counsellor, marriage guidance and, you know, and personal counselling and just wanting to grow. I remember I had some eczema on my hand and I just thought that might be an emotional thing. So I had saw a psychologist for a couple of years and I learned a lot about myself. My eczema didn't go away. That was something else that helped that. But you know, it was still a growing experience. And if we can continue to, it's just one thing that if you're not moving forward, you're probably going to be moving backwards. You're probably going to be missing something out. So we need to be moving forward in our health. And so what I want you to do is look into your life and see where you're out of alignment with life and with health. Chiropractors, we can get your spine back into alignment, but it's up to you to get your life into alignment. Okay, we can help you, to be honest, we can help you 70 to 80%. but 30% is up to you. 30% of healing is up to you, and this is your 30%. All right? 30% we can help you with your spine, your nervous system. You'll be amazed at how many things get better. But 70%, but 30% is up to you, and this is where you look. Okay, so where does healing come from? Let's go one step deeper before we get into some advice. Where does healing come from? What's your first answer? What's your first thought? Within. Very good. Within. Healing comes from within. Our bodies are magnificent, self-healing, self-regulating mechanisms, organisms. They know what to do. Billions of functions are happening in our body every minute, even every second. Right? They're magical, they're mysterious. We know very little actually about what goes on in the body and why. Right? We think we know quite a lot, but we actually know quite a little, only a little. And our body just functions naturally, and it just happens. Right? We don't have to think about it, do we? A lot of people think healing comes from the mind. Some people said healing comes from mental health, right? But it's not. It's actually the body. The body works itself, right? So we start life. If I cut my finger, the medical doctors can sew it up, but who is it that does the healing? It's the body. So we're not using that mental energy. If we did use the mental energy, we could actually help it. We could heal a bit quicker, but we don't have to. We would still heal. If I break my leg, medical doctors can put it in a plaster cast, but who does the healing? It's the body. We don't have to think about it, do we? Okay, so why doesn't the body put skin cells down here and bone cells up here? Because it's intelligent. It's smart, isn't it? We start life off as two cells that come together in the womb, right? And then through this intelligence, they start to divide into 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, etc., etc. Little arms are formed, little legs are formed, organs are formed, and before long you have this beautiful, miraculous human being forming in the womb. And then it grows and grows and grows, and birth happens, which is just biological. It's just basically inside to outside, so that that growth can continue into a fully functioning human being, into our fullest potential as a human being, not just health, but in all ways. And that should be the goal of everybody and everyone's health, to grow into our fullest potential. So this happens through a force of nature. Right. There are 6-7 billion types of symptoms in the world, but often there's only one cause, and it's lack of this life force that keeps us moving towards normal, towards our fullest potential. Is our body designed to be sick, or is it designed to be well?
Well.
It's designed to be well, isn't it? Right, so it's an impetus, it's a movement, but towards normal. Does everyone understand that? Chiropractors call this your innate intelligence. Innate, and it's intelligent. It knows what to do. The medical doctors know about it, and the homeopaths, and they call it it's called the healing power of nature. Right, the naturopaths, they call it the healing power of nature. Medical doctors know about this too, but they sort of work against it a lot. They don't work with it. Chiropractor works with it. All right, so where does this innate intelligence live in your body? Don't answer this, just think about this for a minute. Where does your innate intelligence live in your body? Where do you think it might reside? Where does it come from? How does it flow throughout the body? Why do some people have more of it than others? Some people seem to be expressing more life force than others. Two people in the same family that grow up together, they're together with each other all the time. One gets sick all the time and one doesn't. Two people in the same office, one gets sick all the time, one doesn't. They're expressing more of their potential, their life force. So most importantly, how can we turn this up? Who wants their life force turned up, right, to its maximum? All right. So let's think about this. What's the most important organ in the body? What's the most important organ in the body? First thought. Heart? Yep. Skin? Very good. Yep, skin is an organ. Brain? Two brains there. Kidneys? Yeah, they're all important, aren't they? They're all vital organs. The skin is important, it's an organ. The kidneys are important, but let's look at this. Which ones can we transplant? We can transplant kidneys. We can now transplant hearts. We can do heart-lung transplant and liver transplants. What's the one organ that we can't transplant? The brain and the nervous system. Okay? So what happens when the brain is not working anymore? When we're brain dead, what happens? They turn off the lights or life support system. Or they go into politics. Yeah. That's my only joke. Thank you. All right. So the most important system in the body is the nervous system, and the most important organ is the brain. All right? The purpose of the brain and the nervous system is to control and coordinate the function of all tissues, organs, and systems of the body. Not just one, not just two, not just a couple of other systems, but every system's controlled and coordinated. This is the master coordinator. It's the supercomputer of the body that we don't fully understand. Right? Gray's Anatomy is the medical Bible. Has anyone seen or heard of Gray's Anatomy? It's about 1,500 pages when I went through college. It has small writing, it has little pictures. It's the medical Bible of anatomy. Okay? And this is what the nervous system is. So this is the master system. I've always felt in my body to go for the most productive way of getting something done. And the most productive way of getting something done in the body is to go to the master system and get that fixed. Right? And then everything else is going to be better. It's like a pyramid. You're affecting the whole lot, or upside down, whichever way you want to look at it. The nervous system is 100 billion nerve cells. Some facts: most complicated and least understood organ in the body. We use 100% of our brain, but we understand 10% of how it functions. We don't know everything. Scientists don't know everything. Represents 3% of our body weight, yet uses 20% of our energy requirements, makes man a man and woman a woman. Okay, so this is fantastic. Once we know this, this is why you can never look at your health in the same way again. Okay? Once you know that this system's sorted out, everything else is going to be better, we're going to be healthier. Your nervous system controls and coordinates your glands. Your immune system is controlled and coordinated by your nervous system. You're going to get less colds and less flus if you're under periodic or regular chiropractic care. Your heart, your lungs, your digestive system works better with chiropractic care. So many people say their digestion is better. They're not constipated anymore. Their indigestion's gone away. Their ulcer feels better. Ulcer can be caused by a number of things, but it can be helped with chiropractic. All right? Blood flow is controlled and coordinated by your nervous system. Your stress levels, your adrenal glands. Who gets stressed every now and then? Oh, okay. The adrenal glands controlled and coordinated by your nervous system. That needs to be able to regulate it and turn it down, so we don't get all that adrenaline pumping through our system. Your pancreas, your sugar system, your hormones are controlled and coordinated by your nervous system. Your pituitary gland is half glandular tissue and half nervous tissue in the center of the brain. That's the master controller of all the other glands and hormones of the body. All right? Who knew that? Okay. So all controlled and coordinated by the nervous system. So if we can regulate and balance and align and turn up the life force coming from your brain throughout your whole body. We have a saying in chiropractic, from above down and from the inside out. It's nothing weird and wonderful. It's just that's how your body works. From above down and from the inside out. Healing comes from within through the spine and the nervous system. So an example, we had a young lad, a patient, who became a patient. His parents were patients first. He was running along at sports day. He slipped and he fell over on his back. And he got winded. He winded himself. Then he got up, dusted himself off, ran along. The next day he started wheezing, had difficulty breathing. And a few days after that, his parents took him along to the doctor. The doctor diagnosed what? Wheezing child? Asthma, right? Very common. You know, it's like 3 in 10 kids have asthma nowadays. All right, so the boy's diagnosed with asthma. He's put on what? Ventolin. Is that a good thing to be on?
No.
Well, some people really need it, but a lot of people, maybe they don't. Right? Maybe their asthma is coming from something else. So this boy was put on asthma. Do they take them off asthma medication, off Ventolin? No, they say keep it close by. You've got your asthma plan or whatever. So this boy's on his preventers and his whatever, and we said, why don't you bring him along to the parents? Fallen over, breathing. We heard the story, brought him along. We took some x-rays of his spine. We found some misalignments, some subluxations. We adjusted them, and within a few weeks, he was breathing okay. He said, I don't need my medication anymore. He didn't need it. He didn't want it. He wasn't having any difficulty breathing. The problem was subluxation, and that was contributing some interference to the nervous system, however that happens, and that was creating the symptom. Okay? And his body healed itself. Is that a big thing or a small thing? It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. We have people who've been on medication, asthma medication, for 30, 40, 50 years. It's a steroid. That's not good for the body. That has side effects. It thins your skin. It thins your tendons, weakens your tendons. All right? It causes rotting of the teeth. It's not healthy. All right? So we want to be off these medications as much as we can. Right, so this is why you can never look at your health in the same way again, if we can get that master system working properly and your life force flowing. So how long do you think it's a good idea to have 100% innate intelligence flowing throughout your body? How long do you think? How long do you think it's a good idea to have the innate intelligence, your life force, flowing throughout your body at 100%? Right. All the time? Yeah, it's a silly question, isn't it? Of course, yeah, I want it. Give it to me. Okay. All right, but people are going to say to you, why does the chiropractor want you to keep coming back for checkups? Right. Well, hopefully you understand now why you need correction. All right, because the problem's been there for a while. You've had 20 years, no chiropractic, and you want to get corrected. That's going to take 1 to 2 years structurally to correct it. Why do we want to do maintenance care? Well, how long are you going to brush your teeth for? Forever, for the rest of your life, as long as you've got teeth. All right. How long is it a good idea to have good nutrition? All right, your whole life. Is it a good idea to go on a diet, for a crash diet? Is it a good idea? No, because what happens? You go on a diet, you're going to go off a diet. It's better to do healthy eating for life. Is it a good idea do you think you can get all your exercise done in 1 month of the year? You think, next month, I'm going to exercise. Then I'll be right. For the rest of the year, I'll be fine. How does that work? Okay. All right, with chiropractic, how long is gravity going to be pushing down on your body?
We've had for a while.
Forever. I hope for a while. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully for a long time, at least in our lifetime, and our kids' lifetimes. All right, it's going to be pushing down. So that's a pressure. Who gets stressed every now and then? I asked you before. We all do. That tightens up the muscles. So maybe you need some maintenance. Just like healthy nutrition, just like healthy exercise, healthy spine and nervous system is a good idea for life. Right? And if you build these things up, your nutrition, your exercise, and your nervous system, right, you get up to a higher level, and you stop doing one of those things, they're going to decay down. Right? You do need to maintain a bit to keep, at that level. All right? So, what are the 5 factors of good health? Number 1 is exercise. This is what you need to be doing. This is for all new patients. Walking 20 minutes to half an hour a day, 5 to 6 days a week. Who's doing that? 5 to 6 days a week. Okay. So it's just basically simple walking frees up the body. It loosens you mentally, physically, gets the sacroiliac joints, your pelvis joints, 2 big pelvis joints moving, swinging your arms, breathing deeply, relaxing you mentally. It's a very good thing to be doing. Building up later on to swimming, cycling, some sort of aerobic activity. There's 3 types of exercise: aerobic, stretching, and strengthening. Firstly, aerobic, walking, building up to something a bit more vigorous. Is it good to do vigorous exercise? Yes, it is. All right, it's very good to do vigorous, moderate to vigorous exercise. So we get puffed. It's really good to build up to be doing some of that 2 or 3 times a week for half an hour. Very good for our bodies.
Where does physical work fit into this?
Physical work, the studies have been done show that people who do physical work take a certain number of steps. People who do exercise take a certain number of steps. These ones are a lot healthier. Physical workers, you don't get the same enjoyment. You don't get the same pleasure. There needs to be some recreational aspect to it. So there has to be some enjoyment in it for it to be really effective. To get the happy chemicals going throughout the body. Does everyone understand happy chemicals? Endorphins and kephalins, that's they're good happy chemicals. The growth hormone is another one. People who exercise more, growth hormone goes through the body. You don't exercise as much, less of those happy chemicals, and more stress chemicals, unhappy ones, which are adrenaline, cortisol, etc., etc. Okay, so does that make sense? So,
What if a man loves gardening?
if you love gardening, beautiful. right? But gardening is an activity, it's not an exercise. It's a really good question. A lot of people say, well, I spend a lot of time in the garden. And how do they spend time in the garden? Bent over, okay? So that's not so good for the back. It's good for the soul, it's good for the spirit, it's good for the mind and the emotions, but it might not be good for the back in some ways. Okay, so happy to have you gardening, but as long as you're doing other things as well, all right, to keep yourself strong. So regular exercise, aerobic, regular exercise, stretching. We'll give you some stretches to do. We'll give you a sheet of stretches. They're the best exercises for the spine ever that we've gleaned through 30 years of chiropractic work. You'll get those at the end of your first month of care. We don't want to give them to you too quickly. We want you to see how to go with just the chiropractic adjustments, plus a few specific ones if you need them. And the last type of exercise is strength exercise. Working out at the gym, swimming is actually a strengthening exercise, and it's also aerobic exercise, and it's also a range of motion exercise, a stretching exercise. So swimming is the best one. Once it gets warmer, it's the best thing to be doing, best exercise. All right, so aerobic, stretching we'll give you, and working out at the gym. Who works out at the gym now? Okay, really good thing to be doing. Joining a gym, strengthening. It also strengthens the muscles around the new positions of your bones, very important. The next one is good nutrition. Healthy, balanced, natural, whole foods diet. What do I mean by whole foods? What are whole foods?
Pies.
I'll ignore that one. Pies, yeah. No, I'll ignore that one. All right. What's a whole food?
Not processed.
Not processed, unprocessed.
Yeah, fruit and vegetables.
Fruit and vegetables, yeah, really good. So 5 to 7 fruit and veggies a day, even 7 to 9, I've heard, you know, even better. Who's up to 5 to 7 fruit and veggies a day? 5 veggies, 2 fruit a day. Who does that? Yeah, good, good, good. All right, so we can get better at that. We can get better exercise. We can step up as far as nutrition goes. Whole foods also means no artificial additives, colourings, flavourings, all that sort of thing. Most people know about that. Do you read labels? Who reads labels? Okay, we need to become label readers. We need to know what we're reading. So little books like this are good. The Chemical Maze Shopping Companion. Okay, so it says smiley faces if it's a good one, unhappy faces, or 2 unhappy faces if it's a really bad one. Okay, there is some stuff in our food that we really need to know and avoid. Right, that we shouldn't be taking. We have nutrition workshops that go on here once a month. We've got a alternative nutritionist, a health coach who teaches about how to eat the superfoods, the chia seeds and the barley greens and all of those, and how to incorporate those in our diets. But we need to be excluding all the baddies, putting in the goodies and excluding the baddies.
Sorry, I use my readers, my
Reading glasses?
looking papers. I use a magnifying glass, and I still can't read those bloody labels.
Yeah.
They're too small. They're not meant to be read.
Yeah, no, there's an economic reason for that. You think, oh, well, you know. But basically, if it looks like the food that you started with, you know, the natural food, then it's going to be healthier. That's going to be a whole food. If you can shop from the organic health food stores, mainly fresh fruit and veggies, and we need to be doing it 2 times a week. You know, we need to be getting the fresh stuff, right? Because it does denature. You know, frozen peas are good, that sort of thing. We have workshops on nutrition, so we talk more about that. You know, so there's lots of different advice there. There's lots of advice we can give nutritionally, but the basics are healthy, balanced, natural, whole foods diet. How much water a day? 2 litres of water a day. Who's doing that? Okay, really good. Good, good, good. Yeah, you're getting there. You're aware of it. That's good. Why do we need lots of water? To keep our body hydrated. Our body is 60-70% water. We need to be putting water in to flush it through. Our muscles are 60-70% water. They don't feel like it, but they are. Okay, so we need to be putting water through so the muscles stay relaxed. Often when I feel a bit tense at the computer, who feels tense at the computer? Okay, I'll have a glass of water and I'll feel my muscles just relax. You know, a big glass of water. And you can feel the muscles in your body go, oh, thank goodness, you know, water. All right, and yes, you may go to the toilet more often. 2 litres a day is good. It's good. All right, good exercise too. All right. All right, healthy, balanced, natural diet. A couple of easy ones. Good sleep on a good bed. Good sleep on a flat bed. No dips in the bed. Pillow, not too high, not too low, should be the curved pillow. All right, the old pillow should be between the knees, so we don't roll over on the front. Sleeping on the front is definitely out. Why? Because your head has to turn to the side to breathe. As soon as you relax, your muscles go relaxed, and you put your spine out of alignment. Okay? So not good to sleep on the front. Sleep on your side with your normal curved pillow. Sleep upright, stand tall, walk tall, sit tall, sleep tall, pillow between the knees. If you sleep on your back, your curved pillow goes behind the neck, 1 or 2 pillows under your knees. And that will bring your knees up, and it'll take pressure off the lower back. It'll flatten your lower back against the bed, and it'll take pressure off the lower back. Very comfortable way to sleep. Okay? We should get about 7 or 8 hours a night. Too much or too little has been shown to be unhealthy. Right, so regular times of going to bed, not different times going to bed. You know, it does really disrupt our biorhythms if we're doing night duty and that sort of thing. It's not healthy. You see people who do that long periods of time. It's not healthy on the body. It's stressful. Next one is positive mental attitude. Optimists live 5 to 7 years longer than pessimists. Okay? Why? Because of, we mentioned it before, happy chemicals. Happy chemicals. All right, optimists live 5 to 7 years longer than pessimists because of the happy chemicals going throughout their body. There's a book called Learned Optimism. I won't say too much about it tonight, but we do Healing in the Mind as one of our workshops. We advertise them up here. That's why I'm pointing up here. They're not there now. Healing in the Mind, all right, which talks about how to work through emotional things and mental things and how we can use our mind in our healing process. But for optimistic, it really does help. Book called Learned Optimism by Martin Seligman, very good one. Lots of research about how we can change our way of thinking to a more optimistic way. We have to have a way of processing through our emotions. Counselling, as I said, was good, you know, and that's part of health and healing. And the last one is chiropractic. We'll look after the chiropractic, you look after the rest. Like numbers in a combination lock, if one is missing, you're not going to have good health. All right? If they're all there, you can have a much better chance of good health. All right? 70%, 30% is up to you. 70% up to the chiropractor. So this is how it works. Just finish off and then we'll do questions. 40 years ago, an 8-year-old boy dived into the shallow end of a swimming pool. He hit his head on the bottom of the pool. And he came up and he had a terrible headache. Terrible bad head. He went home. He went along to the medical doctor. His mother took him to the medical doctor. The doctor said painkillers. And the headache went away. That was, the diagnosis was concussion. 10 days later, the headache came back again. It was one-sided, it was pulsating, there was flashing lights in front of the eyes, there was not wanting to look into the light, photophobia it's called, there was having to go lie down in a darkened room, nausea and vomiting. Does anyone know what that is?
Concussion.
Type of headache. It's a type of headache.
Migraine.
Migraine headache with aura. All the other things are like the aura around it. So the boy went back to the doctor. The doctor diagnosed migraine headache. What did he do? Take these pills. Migraine pills, Immigrant. Migraine pills. At that time, did they work? No, they didn't. They were about 50% effective, and they didn't work for this 50%, this child. 10 days later, he had another migraine. 10 days later, another migraine. 10 days later, another migraine. A few trips back to the doctor. The doctor ended up saying, well, you might have to learn to live with it. Who's heard that one before? All right. So, you know, it's a bit of a negative statement. I've thought about this, and it's a negative statement. It's like, don't go to anyone else. Don't try anything else. We don't know what's wrong. So, you know, it's your life. It's your lot. It's your body. That's what you've got. So 10 days later, another migraine, another migraine, another migraine. This went on for about 6 months. Time off school, time not socialising, time not studying. How's the boy's life looking?
Dull.
Dull, bad. How's his potential? Is it closing up?
Yeah.
Is he going to grow to his fullest potential?
No.
He's going to have trouble, struggle. So, you know, how does his family feel? How does his mother feel? His brother, his, etc. Yeah. It affects the ripples go out. The negative ripples go out from any illness or disease. So the boy's aunt worked for a chiropractor. She was a CA, chiropractic assistant, chiropractic angel, we call them. And she said, why don't you bring him along? He's had a trauma to his head. Maybe he's damaged his neck. Maybe he's put a bone out, pinching on a nerve. The old days, that's what it was. And that's causing the headache. So the boy's mother took him along to the chiropractor. She said, they said, they took some x-rays and found subluxations there, 2 subluxations, as if there'd been some sort of a whiplash in the neck. The boy lay down on the table. He had one adjustment, never had another migraine after that day. How do you think that affected his life?
Transformed it.
Is that a big thing or a small thing? Okay. So how do you think my mother felt
Yeah.
when that happened? Who worked that out? Who worked that out? That was me.
Yeah.
That was my life. That was what happened to me back 40 years ago or more. And this is why I'm a chiropractor. The medical doctor said, well, you have to learn to live with it. The chiropractor said, let's give it a go. What have you got to lose? Right? And this is why we say to you, tell people about chiropractic, please. You know a lot more about chiropractic than many other people do now. You know, so please share what you know. I mean, back then, I still went through a course of treatment that was appropriate for my age, a couple of times a week for quite a few weeks. We had to drive 2 hours to see the chiropractor. And my life changed. Whenever I had a problem, went to see the chiropractor. He was usually able to help. I had sciatica because I played Australian rules football, and he made that go away. I thought it was pretty good. My mother had stomach pain, right, abdominal pain. She'd had barrier meals, barrier enemas, all the medical things, and and she saw the chiropractor, adjustments, no more stomach pain. 9 years she had that pain. Do you think that if she'd left it for the rest, she's 82 now, if she'd left it, do you think they might have given her some pills, medications? Do you think they might have given her some operations?
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
definitely. It increases that. It only gets more and more serious. So this is the value of chiropractic and being able to help people naturally, without drugs, without surgery. And this is why I say to people, please tell people about chiropractic. Tell your friends. We give out this voucher. This voucher is basically for a complimentary, I think it's a complimentary examination. Just have a look. Gift voucher. So it's $47 for the first consultation. All right. So it's $47. This is the same one we give at the Hyperdome. Please take one and pass the rest on. Our front door is wide open to people coming in and getting checked. It's not about the treatment, it's about getting checked. We have people coming in here, and they've had migraines for 25, 30 years, and they start to get relief, and they start to cry, and they say, well, why didn't anyone tell me before? They get angry at the medical doctor. They say, why didn't he say, try the chiropractor? Right? And there are political and financial reasons for that. But this is why we say, just tell your family can come in for checkups. Thank you. Your family can come in for checkups. It's all complimentary. But this is for people outside your family, and that's the cheapest it goes to come in when you're getting a check. Thank you very much for your patience. Anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? I've gone on a bit long today, but we're filming it, so.
Is there any room for massage?
Massage, absolutely, yes.
There is?
Yeah, definitely. We usually say in the first month of care, see how you go with just the adjustments, and you can have your massage after that. But we want to see what sort of results we're getting. If someone's in a lot of pain, we'll say, yes, go for it. Go for the acupuncture, the massage, the painkillers if you need them, but we'll try and wean yourself off that sort of thing. What we want is for you to be responsible for your health, so you to be responsible for feeling good by stretching, by adjustments, right, and by healthy wellness living, okay? And then you shouldn't need these things as much. I have a massage every few months, probably. Sometimes I'll have 2 or 3 close together if it feels like more of a muscular or a stress problem. Aromatherapy is beautiful. Swedish massage is great. Chinese people at the shopping centre, wonderful. In their place, all right? But different.
You go to them?
I have been to them, yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes not so good, but you just find who's good and who does what really well. All right. When we have a chiropractic conference, we're all adjusting each other just to get someone different, because I have Lawson all the time, he has me, so we share ourselves around. Yeah. So basically, massage is very good therapy.
I just had one other question.
Yep.
You may have seen those, I can't remember the name of it, but it's an exercise machine.
Yes.
Where there is like a spine on the back of a chair.
Yes.
And you actually move, and they specifically advertise it as working the muscles and working the spine, etc., and stretching.
Right, so you're moving your body around?
Yeah, I just can't remember the name of it. They advertise it regularly on the telly, so I don't watch the adverts anymore.
Yeah,
but
I don't try not to.
I'm pretty sure that they actually say in America it has been tested by the Chiropractic Association, and it's come up trumps.
It's worth a try. I don't know that particular one, but so I can't really comment. But anything that
I'll get the
strengthens
number.
your tummy muscles and increases your range of motion, that's fine. And if it has been tested by the Chiropractors Association, there are always good things coming out. There are lots of good products out there. And again, it's what's appropriate for you. What's appropriate for you might not be appropriate for you or you or you. It's the same with diet and nutrition, same with exercise. Find what suits you. But if have your chiropractic as your foundation, your backbone, if you like, of your health and healing process. And then put all these other things into place, and I guarantee you'll be 90, 95% better. Okay? So thank you very much. You've been a great group tonight. One more question? Just do one more.
I'm just asking now, what about the sun? Sometimes sitting in the sun doesn't tighten it up, or it's all right. I know it's good for vitamin D.
Yeah, vitamin D, the sun, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I think a certain amount of sun is good a day. We need sun, because we know that in the old days when they had fogs around London, everybody got rickets. So they need the vitamin D being produced in the skin from the sunlight. So we need a certain amount, but not too much. We also know that the sun has gotten a lot stronger. Its rays can be quite dangerous, melanomas, that sort of thing. But I think we're going to have less melanomas if we lead that wellness lifestyle. Good food, good nutrition, regular exercise. And then I think we can have a bit more sunlight probably. And also, sun creams, who knows about sun creams? Some people say they're healthy, some people say they're unhealthy. I'd say go for natural sun creams if you're going to use those. If you're going to be out in the sun, you need to shade yourself from it. You'll get natural reflection. Right? So in Australia, we do have very harsh sun. But yes, a certain amount of sunshine is good for vitamin D in the skin. No doubt, no doubt. All right, but we should be getting a lot of these vitamins as well from our food.
Calcium in that as well? for the
Yeah,
bones?
calcium as well.
Yes, that's important.
But again, we need one of the most important determinants of good calcium levels in the body is exercise.
Yeah.
Yes, it has to be in our bodies, but exercise, moves our bones, and our bones are stimulated, and the body brings in calcium through our brain, brings in calcium into the bones and strengthens them. So we really need to keep moving. Exercise is one of the most important things in osteoporosis. Okay? All right, and leafy green vegetables. We get a lot of our calcium from leafy green vegetables. I'm not so keen on the milk thing.
Yeah.
All right, again, we talk about that at the workshop. There's some pluses and minuses, but I'd rather get my calcium from leafy green vegetables and healthy organic food. Okay, thank you very much. You've been a great group tonight. Gone on a bit longer than usual. We'll have to call it 1 hour to health soon. All right, thank you very much.